Hi everyone, welcome to this extra show today. I'm Jon Gaunt. We're talking Rod Stewart. We're talking the fact that he's a legend. We're talking about Bob Vylan. Yeah, him. He's made a name for himself. We're talking when he shouted death to the IDF when he was completely anti-Semitic. He's a Jew hater. And we're going to talk, he's scum as well. We're going to talk about BBC Glastonbury and what part the BBC played in this. Because Glastonbury 2025 exploded in controversy when the punk duo Bob Vylan shouted death to the IDF live on stage. And the BBC didn't pull the plug. They let the live stream continue without any censorship. Now, I'm all for free speech, but this was clear incitement and hate speech. As the backlash grows, questions are being asked right across the UK and indeed across the world. Was this hate speech? Was it a political protest? Or was it a national disgrace? Or was it all three? Meanwhile, Rod Stewart, gave a brilliant set, 80 years old. And people have been saying, oh, Rod Stewart, he's too old. All the lefties have been attacking me on Twitter. It's so funny. I've just looked up their hero, Jeremy Corbyn. Guess how old he is? 76. I bet he can't hold a tune. He can probably sing, we'll keep the red flag flying here. But I bet he can't sing glad rags and handbags. So you're just hypocrites. You're ill-informed buffoons. And you're supporting, effectively, Hamas. You're all there with your Palestinian flags. Let me just explain something to you. Do you know the last time Palestine had an election and why they don't have them? They haven't had one for 14 years. Why? Because Hamas, the terrorist group, are in charge. There's your little facts to take back to your sixth form today when you're debating how bad the world is and how evil it is. And there's a genocide. There's only a genocide because Hamas are telling you that, you stupid, thick, ignorant kids. Listen, I'm all for protest music. I grew up in punk and I grew up in Coventry with two-tone. But two-tone and punk, there was a reason for it. Amongst all the nihilism of punk rock, they didn't do things like this idiot. Let me just read out a few quotes that Grant, my mate who listens regular, Grant the cabbie, these are other things that this idiot Bob Vylan has shouted out before. Kill the effing Queen, bum Britannia. Winding people up is how we derive enjoyment from living in England. Well, he does come from Ipswich, so I suppose you've got to do something to amuse yourself. Dig Up Maggie was another one. He says, I wipe my arse with the UK flag, then I spit on the crown. And then he says, give Churchill's statue the rope, see if it floats. These are all quotes from Bob Vylan. Now, I wouldn't mind if he was talented. I actually watched his set. He's got no talent. He's talentless. His raps don't even rhyme correctly. There's no method there. He's not Dr. Dre. He's not even bloody Eminem. He's useless. And they have tried to steal all the publicity from the other idiots. KNEECAP. I mean, they're useless as well. They should have been ignored. But the BBC should have had warnings in place. They should have understood that this could happen. But the BBC, the state monopoly, that if you don't pay that fee, you're going to prison. Is any one of them going to step down? Any one of them going to say the book stops with me? Tim Davie, for example, the Director General. They've now offered some kind of piffling apology about, oh, we don't support hate speech and it shouldn't have happened and it won't happen again. Tough shit. Too late, BBC. You should have pulled that broadcast. Do you agree with me? So you might want to talk about the Glastonbury 2025. Let's face it, it was boring otherwise. Rod Stewart was brilliant. Do you want to talk about Bob Vylan? Bob Vylan, what a ridiculous name. The BBC. It is controversial. Was it hate speech? I say it was disgrace. I don't want him sent to prison, although I'll ask you a question. If Lucy Connolly got 31 months for one hateful tweet, which I didn't like, it was horrible, but she didn't deserve to go to prison for 31 months, did she? How long is Bob Vylan going to go down for? He's just lost his American tour. Oh, diddums. You might think what comes out of your potty foul mouth next time, mate, after doing what you've done this weekend. So it has sparked outrage across the UK. I don't want them banned. I don't want KNEECAP banned. I believe in free speech. There's a massive difference, though, between free speech and inciting racial or religious hatred. Just for a moment, imagine if it was a white band and he said something like that about Muslims. Just for a minute, imagine what would go on. Huh? What about the book written by Salman Rushdie? Yeah, that was a book. And he's had a fatwa against him and then got attacked again just recently and lost an eye. It can't be right. It cannot be right to do what happened. But I'm telling you where I'm really angry. Why didn't the BBC pull the plug? They had about 15 different... I've been to Glastonbury 4 times. There's loads of different stages they could have cut to because they're filming at the time. I mean, during Rod Stewart, they cut away from Rod Stewart to have some inane chatter with that black girl who's a DJ. I don't know what her name is. And that stupid bloke who dyes his hair. He's a DJ on radio. I don't want to listen to their shit. I wanted to watch Rod Stewart. I didn't want to have to turn over. They forced me to. So the BBC are spending millions of your money on this event, and they couldn't protect our country. They allowed this foul scumbag to say those things. And death. He was wishing death. And the IDF, right? Okay, I'm not even a supporter of them. But they're made up of all different religions. And they are the people who went into the very similar event to Glastonbury in Israel when all those Israeli kids got murdered. Not just murdered, sodomized, raped, babies were ripped from the womb, heads chopped off. Do you remember that girl in the back of that open truck? That's what they did, the terrorists. And then he says that at Glastonbury. And I also hold Emily Eavis, who I know, and Michael Eavis are responsible. Michael Eavis, who's a tax dodger, he's just passed on all of the profits and all the rights to the Glastonbury Festival, really right on this, to his family so that he doesn't pay tax, right? They shouldn't have booked this idiot, well, I keep calling him, it's a band, isn't it? It's two of them, Bob Vylan. They shouldn't have booked him. Or they should have said to the BBC, we do need a contingency here. It's not the first time he said these things. As I say, Grant the cabbie has sent me these. Kill the fucking Queen. Burn Britannia, sorry. Winding people up is how we derive enjoyment from living in England. Dig up Maggie. I wipe my arse with the UK flag, then I spit on the crown. How disgusting is that? He is from Ipswich. So does that make up for... I don't know. So, my question to you, here they are. What Bob Vylan said and why it's caused this political storm. The BBC, I wrote baffling decision to broadcast it live. It's not baffling, it's just typical of the uber-liberal twats who run the BBC. Keir Starmer, and what's he's had to say, he's condemned it now, which is good. Vylan and KNEECAP, should they have been booked in the first place? And what happens to them next? He's just lost his American tour. And my other question is, Lisa Connolly got 31 months for hate speech. What should Bob Vylan receive? It's got to be at least 31 months, surely. Although I had some idiots on Twitter saying, you can't compare what she did to somebody being on stage performing. Huh? She got done because evidently her post on Facebook, according to Keir Starmer, was part of the far-right white brigade and would wind people up and led to the riots. The fact that that was absolute fantasy, Sir Keir, and it now comes out that you should have told us earlier that you knew the identity of the person and it wasn't a new immigrant and it wasn't a Muslim. most of the blame for the riots lie with you, you prat. And that'll come out in the official report. Not that you'll be in power then, because you're on the way out. But the idea that Lucy Connolly says this and she goes to prison for 31 months, just think about the logic here. But this guy does it on a stage with a worldwide audience, on the iPlayer, on repeat. It's now been taken off. But what does that say? They don't want you to talk about that, certainly not in the way I'm going to talk about it, but I'm talking about it today, and I want your reaction to all of this. So what's your view? I shall take your opinions in a couple of moments. If you're liking what I'm saying, please press the like button. I normally do the shows at 6:30. I may still do one later, but I was so wound up about this, I wanted to get on with it now. Because also I've been tweeting about it today, and the danger is people nick my tweets and make out that they had these wonderful ideas. Me, I'm a big supporter of the Sex Pistols. God Save the Queen had wit, it had intelligence, it was articulate in its own inarticulacy, and it was a proper movement. This dickhead from Ipswich has got none of that. There's no subtlety. Eminem, who I'm a big fan of his early stuff, I love that rap. I love it. I really do. And I love protest music. I love the Specials, the Selector. But this wasn't protest. This was inciting hatred against Jews. And of course, the Jews are the only people you can attack. That's what Jeremy Corbyn made a living out of. Attack the Jews, attack the Jews. He'd never say it to a Muslim. He would never do it. None of them would. And I'm sorry, if Lucy Connolly was an example to be made of, let's do it elsewhere as well. Do you agree? Lots of people watching. That's great. If you're listening on a podcast, don't forget you can watch Jon Gaunt TV is my YouTube channel. And the best way to keep up with what I'm doing is to subscribe to that. As I keep saying, it's completely free. Just go to Jon Gaunt TV YouTube and press the subscribe button. Or if you're watching now, press it. Or press the little bell. Then you'll get notified every time I'm doing an extra video or podcast. And if you wish to support me, you can. You can buy me a little thing now just by pressing on that little dollar sign there and donate a few quid, because I do this all off my own back. Or go to www.buymeabeer.com, buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, and you can either buy a coffee or buy a beer. But it's buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I have had amazing reaction on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, to my views on this subject. But I think I probably echo what most people think. Rod Stewart, remember that picture I had behind me today, which you can't see on the screen at the moment because I haven't got my green screen with me because I'm in my daughter's. I'm dog sitting again. But that picture sums it up that I've put out with this podcast. Rod Stewart is a legend. I wanted to put next to that a picture of this guy, which I did. It wouldn't allow me to write the word scum, but I could think of nothing better. He is scum. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know. Please get in touch now. Right, let's get started. Junior's Children Foundation. I don't know who the hell you are. How you doing, baby? Woke in fury, says Moonhawk. I bet you did. The BBC knew what they were doing. They knew that group's political beliefs, and they let them play live with no buffer. They were totally complicit with his outrageous comments on stage. You're right. And it wasn't just one, was it? It was constant. It was constant. It wasn't like just one F or one C word or anything like that. It was constant. That's Pip Tomlinson on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed for that. Junior Children's Foundation. I don't know what game you're doing. I'm just going to ignore you, right? In fact, I'm going to block you in a minute. So you may as well stop being a prat. The BBC. Oh, I've just read that one, haven't I? Denise Deegan. He puts the C in rap. Thank you, Denise. That's on YouTube as well. How about the police getting involved? Well, I think they are. They're looking at it at the moment. I mean, it's dangerous territory when we start having the police involved in any form of censorship. I'm a free speech merchant. I'm not an absolutist like some of those nutters on radio and telly. I do think that free speech comes with responsibility. And I think he overstepped the mark. But I don't want you to lose sight. I want some comments on this. I don't want you to lose sight of the BBC and the Eavis family who run Glastonbury and make a bloody fortune out of it. Don't lose sight of the fact they've got some responsibility as well. Fantastic response today. So many people joining in. Thank you for that. Keep pressing the like button as well. Tomo, afternoon, John. Hope you're keeping cool. Why was this idiot allowed to be even at Glastonbury? The organisers must have known, and the BBC should have cut the stream. Jokers, the lot of them. Well, they like a little bit of publicity, don't they? The BBC, of course, the bloated broadcasting corporation. Of course, they bloody knew. What other defense? Well, if they've got two defences, it's like MPs. It's I didn't know, i.e., I'm thick, I shouldn't do the job, or I did know and was deceiving you. There's no other option. They knew what this band were like. They should have made sure. They should have made sure that they could cut the stream. Moonhawk says it's all publicity for them. Sales will go up. Well, of course it will. Only problem for them, though, is America has just cancelled their tour. So they're going to have a few problems. Kevin Routley, I'm glad that you're saying this. Rod Stewart was fantastic. That's on Facebook. Yeah, let's not lose sight of an 80-year-old guy. He wasn't as good as he used to be. Of course he wasn't. I saw him in Marbella when I was on TalkSport years ago. He was brilliant then. But at half-time, he had to have some oxygen, right? And that's 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Brilliant performer. And I love the way it's still glam. I love the fact he's got three or four girls there who look drop dead gorgeous and they have costume changes. It's proper music. And then again, the little lefties who obviously had a day off from school, they were slagging me today saying he's just too old. Hold on a minute. Diana Ross. How old was she when she performed? Jeremy Corbyn when he performed. It's the legend spot, you twats. You're bound to be older, aren't you? And I'm not saying, well, he was actually the highlight because the rest of the bits that I saw were rubbish. But it's been like that ever since it turned into a corporate event. I went years ago when it's a proper hippie do. It ain't that anymore. It all changed with the rave scene. See, this is what I love when I come on here and I talk about things because I know about it because I've been there, I've done it. And then people call me granddad and tell me I'm too old. There we are. Shut up, John. Don't start moaning. There we go. Denise Deacon. She's a super sticker woman. She's just donated a $5. Thank you very much. You do that during YouTube. Just look for super sticker, press that $sign, and then choose how much you'd like to donate. Denise, thank you very much indeed. It means you get priority. Your comments will come up first before other people. If you want to do it, it's free. You can watch for free. Meanwhile, I'll just starve to death. Mind you, I could do with losing the weight. The BBC knew exactly what they were doing. Michael Eavis said days before, if you don't like our politics, go somewhere else. It's all by design, and any denial is lies. I've largely got to agree with you, RJ, talking to me there on YouTube. Also, as well, of course, people got upset with Rod because Rod dared. He didn't even support Farage. He didn't say vote for him. He said perhaps we should give him a chance. Well, I think about 98% of the British public think that at the moment. Look at the toss-spots we've got in power. Keir Starmer has still not got, I might probably talk about this later. Hold on a minute. Keir Starmer still hasn't got that disability bill through, and that's going to be voted on tomorrow. He's given away so many concessions. He may as well be running a school fete. That's quite a good one. He's finished. He's absolute toast. And he's just done a brilliant one as well, hasn't he? About, I didn't read the speech properly because somebody had firebombed my house the night before. Well, I sympathise with him on that level. But you didn't read the speech. So you're giving speeches I thought the way it works in politics is you rough out what you want to say. Some little knob who's barely shaving, he writes it up and it sounds okay. And then you present it. A few problems there, of course. Keir Starmer hasn't got an original idea in his head, hasn't got a vision. So that must be the first part that's difficult. Second part, the kids don't know how to write nowadays. They're all about 20, 25. just about getting a beard, and that's just the women. And then on top of that, he's got no conviction. He's got no vision of what he wants Britain to be. Tony Blair, love him or hate him, he had a vision. Boris Johnson, Maggie Thatcher, of course. This is what we're being led by. And so for Rod Stewart to say, give him a chance, what's wrong with that? That's not even political, in my opinion. But you're right, Michael Eavis did say that. Makes me sick. Glastonbury, Andy George, my worst nightmare, with the odd exception, absolute dross. Thank God I was alive in the 70s and 80s when music meant something, with the Pistols, the Specials, etc. Yeah, Andy, but let's not be too old-farty about it. There are some good bands now as well. There are some good bands. They just weren't on at Glastonbury. And it's just become a corporate fest, hasn't it? And the BBC, I tell you what, the BBC are bricking themselves because they know they're going to be told, probably Ofcom are investigating. I know they're about as much use as a chocolate fireguard or a condom in a priory, but they're now investigating. I think there's a good chance they could lose the license to broadcast it. But I think it's got too big anyway. It's too bloated. Do they really need all those presenters? Do you remember a few years ago, all the scandals? I used to know people who worked at Radio 1 and Radio 5. They got loads of tickets to go. It was tickets aplenty. They didn't ever pay for them. I knew the guy who ran Radio 1 at one point used to be my producer. He was rubbish at that as well, in Luton. He had loads of freebies off it. They all do. Living high on the hog off the rest of us. Oh dear, that's going to get me in trouble. Glastonbury is no longer a music festival, says Graham Hatton, a big supporter of mine. Good morning to you. Good afternoon, Graham. It's nothing more than a gathering of politically motivated middle-class lovers who want a virtue signal to anyone who's interested. Meanwhile, Rome burns. That's good. I was a bit worried there at the beginning that you were going to say it's really political. It's not. It's not. And I'm glad you didn't say that, because what you said was it was a bunch of middle-class tosspots, and it is. Those kids, when they started chanting with him, Free Palestine, I wanted to say, hold on a minute, what do you have to do to get a Free Palestine? I'll have one of them. What is it, buy 10 pints of lager or something? Buy a tofu burger and you get a Free Palestine. What does it mean? Palestine hasn't had a democratic election in 14 years. I am not supporting what Israel is doing, the IDF's doing. But hold on a minute. How about giving the hostages back? Wouldn't that be a way forward? And what about that music festival when young Jewish Israel, beautiful girls and boys, I sound like Donald Trump, beautiful, were slaughtered, raped, babies ripped from them? What about that? Doesn't that matter? It doesn't justify. The Israelis do tend to overreact. But the idea is don't mess with them, isn't it? And when they were singing, and that moron, Bob Vylan, he actually sang, or chanted, because he can't sing, can he? He chanted From the Rivers to the Sea, which is about the absolute wiping out of the Jewish people. Well, I'm sorry. I think that's disgusting. But most of the kids waving their flags, they wouldn't understand that. It's all corporate. It's all... at least he didn't say pregnant women. What are you on about, Craig? I haven't got a clue there. Totally agree, Andy, says Tomo, agreeing with Andy, who made the point a minute ago. Thank you. Who's next? Fraser Ford. I hear Keir got 22 million in offshore accounts, robbing the government blind. What are you on about, Fraser? Where have you got that from? You know, try and say things that make sense. The best act of the weekend was from someone in the age group that Labour were trying to cut the winter fuel allowance to. Yeah, that's very true. I had some bloke. He turns out he used to be in a band called, do you remember a band called Pele? They were like an indie band. They were quite good. They never made it. But this guy, I forgot his name because he's a no-mark. But he makes out he's still a musician. Anyway. So yeah, Ian Prowse, I think that was his name. So he had a go at me on Twitter, basically saying that Rod was too old. And he called Rod a see you next Tuesday. And he said, you know, the amount of money they're making, da-da-da-da-da. And he talked about the National Health Service. So I was a bit of a smart ass, actually. I said, do you not know about Rod Stewart and his donation to the NHS? Silence. Nothing come back. I knew it wouldn't. So then I told him, and I sent him to the article in the BBC. Do you remember Rod Stewart paid for all those people to have some monitoring? I think it was women, wasn't it? Who were waiting too long. He paid for them all, hundreds of people. And Rod Stewart has come back to live in this country. He's paying taxes in this country. Rod Stewart, he's a very proud Scotsman, but he's a Brit through and through. And he puts on a great act. Glamour, rock and roll, that's what we want. Not some idiot with dreadlocks and a pair of boxer shorts on, jumping into the audience and shouting, "Death to the infidels," or whatever he was shouting. The guy's a moron, a talentless moron. He needs to be put in a court of law. He was doing hate speech. He was inciting anti-Jew hatred. That's against the law, isn't it? Or is it just Muslims who are getting protected? I don't know. The best act of the week. Oh, I've just read that one. Sorry. Hawkwind started Glasgow. It was a free festival then. Now look at it. I wouldn't go if you paid me. That's very true indeed. They were the first band ever to play there. I had a friend who said he went. I don't think he'd ever come out of the drugs experience afterwards. The HIV test makes sense when you get the full story. Oh, look, Fraser, if you keep printing stuff on my live streams that are not true or you can't possibly know are 100% true, and you are libeling or slandering people, even if it's the Prime Minister, I will simply block you. Simply block you. Because you are not going to wreck my career with your nonsense. Do you understand? That's you told now. Right. BBC correspondent Maxine Croxall got a slap on the wrist for adding to the word woman after the prompt had pregnant people in the script. I don't think she did, actually. I think a lot of people have applauded her. I'm not sure she has been told off. And Moonhawk's telling me again, Rod Stewart paid for a load of CT scans. You're right. People were waiting too long. And he said, look, I know what that's like to go through that. And he said, let me sort it out. And he paid for it. Now, to me, I know he's got the money. To me, that's just brilliant. I wonder what that rapper has ever done. So Bob Vylan, I'm saying he went too far. I'm saying you cannot say the things he said because it's incitement and it's hatred. And why be able to do that? It's just wrong, isn't it? Fundamentally wrong. The BBC, why didn't they pull the stream? They had millions of other stages they could have gone to. What is it with them? Is it because that's the agenda that they want to push, like some people are saying? I don't think it can be. When I worked in the BBC, there were loads of people who were Jewish. That's why I've always found it baffling when people say, well, they're anti-Semite. And I thought, what are they? I think what they are is anti-Israel. And, you know, it's like that, like the BBC are anti-Trump. They still haven't got over the fact that Trump has brought peace between Israel and Iran. They're constantly trying to say, oh, no, they've still got the nuclear weapons and the rest of it. What is it with these people? What is it with them? Do they not really want peace? Maybe I need to use the F word against the BBC like the Donald did the other day when he was getting into his helicopter. Keir Starmer, he's taken too long to condemn this, hasn't he? He's probably waiting for advice from his speechwriter. And he was probably busy because he was, I don't know, on an 18 to 30 holiday or something. But again, we're being led by an idiot. And have you seen the news this weekend? I might talk about this later if I do another one. I'll see how I feel. Angela Rayner, she's odds-on favourite to be the next leader of Labour and therefore our Prime Minister. You literally couldn't make this up. And then, should Bob Vylan and KNEECAP have been booked in the first place? I think probably not. Mainly because musically, they're rubbish. I mean, KNEECAP in particular are absolute dross. And Bob Vylan, I was trying to find the musicality in it, and I couldn't. And I'm not an old fart. I like a lot of modern music. And then I can't help but think about Lisa Connolly. 31 months for hate speech she got. What she said was horrible. I condemn her for it. A couple of months in prison would have sufficed, if anything at all. But if she got 31 months, what's Bob Vylan going to get? Well, I'll tell you what he'll get. a little slap on the wrist, and then he'll carry on doing what he does. If you like what I'm talking about, my name's Jon Gaunt. It's Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube, although I'm on podcasts all over the place. You can listen to those. But if you want to know exactly what I'm doing, it's Jon Gaunt TV. That's my YouTube channel. Go there, subscribe, and then you'll get all this uncensored commentary and you'll get real talk. I must explain to everyone, I've been booking guests. I'm starting having guests from next week, I think. So I'm getting people lined up, and I'm going to be introducing some guests now and again into the videos and podcasts. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments on the bottom. And was this truth to power today? Was it truth to power what that idiot did yesterday? Or was it hate in disguise? It wasn't really in disguise, was it? So he shouted, "Death to the IDF," live at Glastonbury. The BBC aired it. No censorship, no delay. Rod Stewart closed the festival with a love train, a song about unity. So is it freedom of speech, hate speech, or something more sinister? Because, of course, they mix it all up with Brexit and everything else. Poor old Lisa Connolly, she's serving 31 months. What should happen to Bob Vylan? Leave your views, because I do read every single comment, and I often use them within the next show as well. So please do that. Simple to do. David Temple, you a superstar. He's just done a super sticker for me, and he's putting £2 to the pot. Doesn't matter whether it's £1, £2, £5, £100, £10, whatever you want to donate. Thank you, and what you can afford. Thank you, David. That's very much appreciated. I really do appreciate that. If you want to make a donation, do it now. Press the little $sign and donate as much as you wish. If not, do it later on buymeabeer.com. No, buy me a coffee. www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, but you can choose it to be a beer if you want. That's me wrapping up now. The dog has been exhausted. I was up at 6 this morning, about 5:30. I was out walking with him at 6 because you just cannot go out in this weather. I don't know if you remember when I was on TalkSport, my producer, Sean, I know you're going to have to go to the BBC to look at this, but he's written a brilliant piece about dogs and keeping them cool in this terrible weather. Because, of course, he's got a guide dog. So he's not using the guide dog at the moment to guide him anywhere. But he talks about how to look after them in the heat. Some good tips. It's on the front page of the BBC website. His name is Sean Dilley. It's a very, very good piece that he's written. He's a lovely bloke. One of the best radio producers I ever had. So if you can check that out, do that for me as well. I'll be back at 6:30 if I'm not exhausted with this heat. I think there'll be something else to talk about. But I'd love your comments on this. And mostly what you can do for me is retweet this video. I put it up straight away after the live show. So feel free to share it with all your mates. We've got to build the numbers. The more numbers we get, the more push you get. It's just the way it works on YouTube. It's the algorithm. I've never met the guy, but that's what it is. And also as well, I will be back tomorrow, definitely at 6:30. And if you've not gone to Jon Gaunt TV, go there on YouTube. You'll see all my podcasts are there, all the videos. I think I got a notification the other day saying you've now uploaded 800. And there's shorts as well. You know, those little snippy ones, which my mate AI organises after the show. So you can listen or watch those as well. It's going brilliant, apart from the fact I ain't making a living. I had a bit of a conversation. You know what I mean by a conversation, gentlemen, with my wife yesterday about this. But she brought me down to do the dog sitting. I'm here for a week. And so she brought me down and we had a conversation. Shall we leave it like that? But I need to start upping the dosh, basically. How do you go from earning thousands of pounds and being the number one talk jock in the world, well, in the country, to where I am now, in my daughter's kitchen begging for coffee? I guess you call a counsellor who wanted to keep children in a children's home rather than let them be adopted by people who have dared to smoke a Nazi. I guess that's what you do, which is what I did. I don't regret, well, I do regret it because I could still be turning left on the plane and driving a Jaguar but I'm doing as well as I can, and it means I've got principles, doesn't it? And I was right about the residential care homes. Do you remember all the scandal that came out afterwards? Anyway, and then you must listen to or watch the last podcast, the one when I'm talking about Starmer and all the TV, all the U-turns he's been doing, the rape gangs, the winter fuel allowance, welfare cuts, and rumour today in Westminster he's going to go back on the farmers thing as well. He never had any policies, and now he's ditching any semblance of them as well. It's a complete and utter joke. Well, I'm not going to read out you because that's an idiot. I'm just looking at the other day. Oh, yeah, Bob Vylan. This is a good one to end on. He says, Bob Vylan. Funny, Bob Vylan. He never called out for Hamas to release the hostages. Correct. He never, did he? Now, that's interesting. That's me finished. I'll be back either later at 6:30 or maybe tomorrow. You can catch me at 6:30. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them that you love them. And I'll see you tomorrow or today. Tune in at 6:30 if I'm here. See you later. Thanks for watching today. It's been brilliant. Great, what a performance. Thank you.